right, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Andy Johnson.
My co-host for today. You might remember Andy from a couple episodes ago. Now he's riding shotgun. And our guest today is Mr. Rudy Garcia from Greeley, Colorado.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome, man. We were just talking basketball because I'm a Bulls fan, and he's asked me if I'm a gang member, and I'm the farthest thing from it.
That's my experience. You wear a Bulls hat. I don't know if you're a Crip or not. So.
You know what's funny? I grew up in a very small town, but my family's from Pueblo.
Okay.
And so when we went down there when I was a kid, I go to the state fair and I'd be decked out in red and black, you know. And my aunt from Colorado Springs tells my mom, you can't send Lawrence looking like that down there. You know, someone's gonna kill him. You know. She's like, why? And I was so disappointed. You know, I looked like a street worker with all the yellow I had to wear just to be safe at the state fair in Pueblo.
Yeah.
Pueblo.
You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Are you from Greeley originally?
I was born and raised. Yeah, born and raised Greeley, Colorado.
That's cool. How do you?
Is it cool?
Yeah,
I don't even know
okay.
anymore. Is it cool? I don't know. I feel like I say that around the state, and you just watch your credibility dive. But
I just told you my family's from Pueblo. So
well, okay, yeah, we're good. So we're basically we're cousins then.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
what
we kind of are. We just spit on people, unless Minnesota people are in the room.
I'm from
I know.
Minnesota.
We're in Minnesota over here.
Minnesota.
You could tell by his accent, of course, right? So,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Did you get mad when you came to Colorado and everybody was calling it pop?
No, we called it pop in Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought it was soda in Minnesota.
No, well, a soda pop.
Okay.
A soda pop, but otherwise just pop.
Really?
So no, it didn't bother me at
I
all.
was with you. I think back east and like
thought
that
it
way
was,
was a soda.
Or like in New Jersey, in that area, they call it Coke. You want a Coke, and that would mean virtually anything. What kind of Coke do you want? Well,
That's the
you know.
Texas thing too, right?
Colombian.
Down in the south.
Okay. And down south, it was just
Eight
tea.
ball.
You want tea. You're not getting Coke. You're not getting pop.
Really?
You're drinking tea. A lot of tea. My girlfriend drinks tea.
But what is it really?
Tea.
Oh,
But then there's tea variations, right? Like they add alcohol or lemons.
Yeah. There is. I don't know that much about it. I'm from Minnesota.
you kind of confused me.
I feel like you guys really pinned me down here. I regret never making any kind of a statement about it at all.
We said soda, like you call it tea, and I'm like, what kind is it? You go tea, and like, now I'm lost. So that's why I started you. Like, take this over, please.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, we
Alcoholic
can edit
tea?
this out.
Some, what was it? I can't say this ever. Arnold Palmer. Why do I have salt?
Arnie Palmer. Yeah,
Arnold
That's
Palmer?
a half lemonade, half tea.
right.
Yeah.
I looked at Rudy because Rudy actually has his own podcast, Throwing Axes. What comedians?
Yeah,
Throwing
Comics and
Axe.
Bars, Throwing Axes.
That's a long-
Spotify or Anchor. Yeah, I know it is long. It's a long walk to where we get to, but it's fun. No, we just throw axes in the Greeley Hatchet House, and so we throw axes, talk comedy.
Where is that?
Greeley Hatchet House.
Yeah.
It's right off downtown Greeley's going through a crazy renovation. There's been I don't even know how many new businesses have come and gone because of the pandemic, but Greeley Hatchet House came in into the old Florio shoe stop. I just thought it was funny because it was a Florio shoe shop, like it just sold women's shoes.
Really?
And I guess they thought, enough of that. Let's put in an axe throwing bar.
Right.
Completely the
Completely
opposite.
different. Yeah, to go from retail to a bar. No, it's just right there on 9th Street. If you know where the Moxie Theater is, same street, same block.
Right. Which you work for the Moxie.
I do work security for the Moxie. That's my day
cool.
job. Yeah.
And comedian at night.
Comedian by night. Yeah, can I do it? Is that? I almost feel superhero-ish when you say it like that.
It's very superhero-ish.
by the day, by night.
It takes some balls to do comedy. It really
Comedy
does.
by night, yeah.
It's
true.
It takes balls to get up there and voice your opinion. And now, even now, Rudy, do you think it's going to change after the pandemic? After all the political stuff going on?
Oh, no, I think we were just talking about that on the way up here. I am of the opinion that we're probably going to get back to comedy roots a little bit and then come back out of it.
How so? What do you mean by
I think
comedy roots?
in tides. Because we were talking about how comedy had a little bit of racism in it in the 60s and 70s. And how today, if you say one word of racism, you're canceled.
Right.
And just how it, even back then, it kind of ebbed and flowed kind of like an ocean, kind of back and forth. Well, these are my words. Andy will obviously give his opinion here in a second. But yeah, I always consider it just kind of like an ocean touching the beach. Like right now, the tide's far, far out.
Right.
There's words we don't say. There's
Right.
phrases and ideas we don't entertain on stage.
Right.
And if you do, you're risking losing your job and losing the craft that you love. Versus in the 60s and 70s, the example we thought of was Blazing Saddles.
I mean, come on, Blazing Saddles was...
Is it a masterpiece in your eyes? Or is it just absolute, filth? We can't say, how dare you watch that, type deal.
Right.
So
You've seen the meme, though, right, on Facebook and Instagram with Blazing Saddles will be on TV tonight. After they edit it, it'll be from 8 to 8:07. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, is that from the 70s? Yeah, it is from 70s. Yeah,
it's from around that. I mean, but you know the genre of comedy I'm talking about, like the the Richard Pryor, the Gene Wilders, the
right. What's your opinion on it?
I would hope it goes back to that. It's a long road back.
Right.
There's a lot of there's a lot of destruction and a lot of destroyed careers. When we were talking about that maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, people were surprised that things had changed. So they said something, and boom, they were like, "Wow, that was acceptable yesterday. It's not today." They lost their careers. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like people know what the rules are, and they still say something they shouldn't say.
Well, at what level, though? I mean, because like open micers are going to do that anyway. That's
open micers were just stupid people.
Well,
I mean, you say whatever you can, to get a laugh. But you're talking about, somebody famous still saying something that people have said. You can't say that anymore. And they're still saying it and then being surprised that they're causing themselves problems. And it's too bad. But
in my opinion, I think that comedy it'll be good because it's not going to be as widely loved. I think you're going to get your niche comedy people who love it. You know what I mean? Who's just going to come to see it. But I think people are going to stay on that whole people like to be offended. I think it's something that's people love to do. It's some people, it's their thing now. So I hope not. I think comedy's awesome. I've loved it forever since I was a little boy. So I hope it does come back. I really do. And you run some rooms up in Cheyenne?
No, not Cheyenne. You're talking about Dominic Syracuse there, but he's a good man. You should definitely get a hold of him if you're a comedian. He runs a great room up in Cheyenne, Dillinger's Bar. Okay. Great bar too. If you like buttered bourbon, one of the best in the state. It's the only one I've had in the state, but yeah,
very good.
I like bourbon, period. So buttered or whatever.
Buttered bourbon's so good, yeah. And the only other place that I found that was comparable was Abbott and Wallace in Longmont. It's a distillery. It used to be Long Tucky. But I do the Moxie Theater Comedy Showcase, monthly showcase.
Cool.
Featuring local comedy, local Colorado comedians for the most part.
Is it a regular paid gig for comics, or is it like an open mic thing?
Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely pay the comics off of ticket sales.
Okay, cool.
So they get paid. They come out. I was talking to Andy about the pay scale on the way up here, kind of the one that's been accepted in Colorado that I kind of learned when I got in the game.
Okay.
And then I also do a small room in Fort Collins at the Lorano Wine Bar. That's another comedy showcase monthly.
Where's that in?
It's in Fort Collins off of College and Mitchell Drive.
Okay. All
so
right.
So what happened was, it used to be this big like wine warehouse.
Right.
Pre-pandemic. Pandemic wiped out the warehouse, but they had a tasting room in the cellar. And so some people just bought the cellar out, turned it into a wine bar.
Okay.
And so now they're bringing in, they really want it to be like a live music venue, is what the owners have told me. But it's such a nice place to do comedy, like brick walls, basement, surrounded by wine bottles, No,
I'm going to, you've been here for very long doing comedy. How long have you done it?
Excuse me. I've been doing it about 3 years now.
3 years, okay. Way back in the day, Eric Lindstrom had a room. I think that might be it. Has it been there for a while?
I don't know. It could be. You're probably onto something there. But the wine store has been there forever.
Right, but the basement, I seem to remember that with the brick walls and
the basement's been there forever as well.
Okay. It's right on College, though, or no? Is it a little?
It's right off of College. Like you're driving down College, you look to your right, and it's right there on the corner of College and Mitchell.
I think, or maybe Eric Lindstrom didn't run the show. I remember that's where I met him, though. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I did a lot of buttered bourbon drinking in my my younger days. So shit.
It's a good drink.
Dude, I meet a lot of people. I meet a lot of people for the first time 2-3 times. So it's not good, man. So, but how would a comic get a hold of you, or how do you pick your comics?
Usually, so I used to be a Twitter guy, not so much, just because I learned the term doom scrolling, and I found out I do that a lot. So I stay away from social media.
I'm unfamiliar. What is doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling is when you just sit there at Instagram and you just this motion. You're just looking at your phone doing this for hours. You don't get anything done.
No.
You don't do any chores. You don't fold your laundry.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, that's me completely.
Yeah, you just sit there and you do this. You don't pay attention to your kids. You don't pay attention to the dog. The dog's looking at you. It's biting your ankle. You're just doing this.
Right.
And you can't stop. And you look up, and it's like 5 hours have gone by, and you're like, oh, my God, where'd my day go?
You have to just do when you're taking a shit.
Yeah,
there's your advice, okay?
Well, see, I'm moving from doing that to a bathroom reader. I'm trying to go more old school there. I want my bathroom reader again. but I'm afraid of all the germs that'll get on the book. So,
well, I mean, didn't kill anybody back in the day. I read the same Sports Illustrated 17, 18 times before I'd replace it, So, right? We're talking to the two old guys.
Andy strikes me as an Uncle John's bathroom reader type guy. Am I correct there? Or?
Uncle John's big bathroom book.
Funny thing about the bathroom thing is that's how I remember my father every Sunday going into the bathroom with a pack of cigarettes and the Sunday paper. And
a pack of cigarettes.
And we grew up in a very small house, so we had one bathroom, right?
Oh, sure.
And the bathroom was off of the living room and off of the kitchen and off of the bedrooms. And so whatever went on in that bathroom, you knew about in all of the rooms of this house, right? And my father would sit in the bathroom and read the Sunday paper and smoke cigarettes for a long time.
Wow.
For a long time. So when you walked in there, it smelled like daddy poo and cigarettes.
Your dad must have had a filthy ass, too. I mean, unless he did some courtesy wiping as he was going, you know what I mean? But, you knock on the door, and, Dad, I got to use the restroom. I got 3 more smokes to go.
I tried doing it when I became a dad because I looked at my father as my father was what I wanted to be, right? A farmer, a tough guy. Everything about my dad was what I wanted to be. Sure. And so when I became an adult, well, if my dad smoked cigarettes in the bathroom, why can't I, right?
Yeah.
So I walked in there with a pack of cigarettes and the Sunday paper, and I burnt my dick. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Well, I did. Damn it!
I mean,
the truth.
I'll allow it, but I don't know why you would say that. I don't know. How bad you burn it.
Well, enough where I learned my lesson. I didn't smoke in the bathroom when I was sitting on the toilet.
I imagine it doesn't take much, does it? That's the smallest of welt on the old wank is probably enough to teach you a lesson.
Exactly.
You're trying to ash between your legs.
Drop a red hot cherry on the tip of your dinger. I'm telling you, man, that'll teach you a lesson.
That'll make you quit smoking.
Exactly.
Character.
My mother smoked when I was a child, and I came home from school and asked her if she loved me, and of course, and gave her the guilt trip. You know what I mean about smoking, how you're killing us both. And I guess she went in the next room and cried for a good time, and she quit smoking because of it. So when I turned 19 and started smoking, that got ugly. That was not widely accepted. And she says, "Don't you love me?" I said, "Well, as much as the cigarettes, I suppose." And I didn't say I love you, Mom. I didn't say that to her. But it got ugly when I started smoking. Are you a smoker or no?
I used to be a big menthol guy. I went from King's Cool cigarettes, the Cool Kings.
Right.
And then, I don't know, I messed around. Marble menthol was a favorite. I never got into Newport. Couldn't get into Newport.
And you asked me if I'm the thug with the Chicago Bulls. You're smoking menthols, bud?
Well, I had to know if I was amongst my people or not,
Okay,
so
that's fair.
I didn't know if we're outnumbering Andy or not. But it turns out we're not, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah. I smoked menthols when I was sick because somewhere in my stupid-ass head, I thought to myself, this will make it better. I got a scratchy throat. I got a cough. I better switch to menthols for a week or two just to blow this shit over. You know what I mean?
I was at the Comedy Fort playing around with some jokes, and outside is a big smokers lounge outside the club. And we were talking about cloves. Cloves came up. You remember those?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, woo. Smoking fiberglass. Straight to the lungs.
I'm 45. Are you close to me in age?
About 5 years younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we go to concerts when I was late teens, early 20s, mostly late teens, we'd always bring the clove cigarettes, like to the Lollapaloozas and stuff, because it made you cool. But yeah, it was. I don't think you were supposed to inhale those damn things, were you?
I don't know, man. I just know they tasted good. Djarums?
Yeah, they did taste good.
You can still taste them now. Yummy.
But then you'd have to smoke another cigarette to kind of clear your lungs out because it was like fiberglass. It hurt. You ever had cloves?
I've never had cloves.
Oh, really?
Ooh, let's go get a pack.
Never.
Let's go get a pack and get me started.
I went in
the
November.
Gateway podcast. We'll get you hooked on something.
I went to a hypnotist in November for smoking.
Really?
Yep.
Good for you. It works.
Yeah, I'm up to 2 packs a day.
No,
I quit.
Did you go to a hypnotist?
Yep, I did go to a hypnotist. Yep.
So did I.
And it completely ended the smoking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went to one 20 years ago and haven't had a cigarette since.
Okay.
Oh, good for you guys.
Yeah.
You guys paid some dude to do that, huh?
Yeah.
Or was there a deal involved? Or
$50, man.
Just get it
You
done?
did it for 50?
Yeah.
Cost me over $500.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
But if you did it, you said 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So considering what you were paying in cigarettes and what I was paying in cigarettes last year, it didn't take me very many months to make that money back in not smoking.
Yeah, that's no sure. How much were they when you quit?
When I quit, they were over $5 a pack.
They were $3.25, I think, is my last pack I bought, and I thought to myself, this is highway robbery. But now they're like $8-9 or
it's
so.
insane.
Yeah,
It's
they're
cheap.
over $7. The kind I smoked, they're over $7 a pack.
It's cheaper to smoke crack.
It is. It
You know?
probably is. Yeah.
Even cheaper to smoke meth, actually.
Yeah. I mean, what were you smoking? What kind were you? What was your brand?
Called Pyramid. I'm not. They were called pyramids. I'm not convinced that they were completely tobacco. There might have been ground up carpet remnants in there, or leaves.
I mean, that's just extra bonus.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't matter. I smoked them, and a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I quit.
All right.
I am.
Well, here we are at the Bullhucker podcast. Before we get started, I do want to say thank you to the Sands Theater and the Chamber of Commerce here in Brush for letting us have such a great place to do our podcast. It really is very nice of them to let us do this, and I leave my stuff here in the middle of everybody's way, and they don't yell at me too much. So, thank you, Chamber of Commerce, for letting us do it here at the Sands Theater. And it looks like July is around when they're going to open up. So, yeah, that'd be cool. So maybe we'll start doing some comedy here and some movies and everything else, and it'll be awesome. And if you're new to the Bullhucker podcast, what we do is we bring a guest on, Mr. Rudy today. He's brought us 3 stories about his life, and the kicker is only 2 of these stories are true. One of them is a bullhooker. It's a lie, a fib. It's not real. And I'm going to ask you, the one that is not real, is it completely made up, or is it borrowed, or?
No, I would say it's from life experience that is probably a little bit exaggerated.
Okay. So okay.
I tried to actually go along with the theme. I'm guessing I'm trying to stump you guys.
Yes.
So
you're going to tell all 3 stories.
I'm going to do my best to stump you guys.
Okay. All right. We have had a horrible record the past since we came back. We've been beat both guests 3 times.
Okay.
That's tough to do. So we'll see, Rudy, if you can get a little Hall of Fame page.
You get hypnotized to get better at it or something.
I don't know if that's going to help. I'm pretty horrible at this shit. So, all right. So, having said that, Andy, you're the guest. So I'm going to let you pick the story first you want. We have to choose from Kindergarten Blues, A Giant Among Ants, and Mattress Everest. What do you want to hear, bud?
I want to do A Giant Among Ants.
Giant Among Ants.
Oh, my grandmother's going to love you for this. Okay. This is my grandmother's favorite story, and she always wonders why I haven't made a bit out of this in comedy yet. Okay. You'll probably know after this story because it's extremely embarrassing to me. So when I was younger, I was very poor. Grew up very, very poor. I grew up next to a trailer park right on the banks of the Poudre River, North Greeley, Colorado. It goes trailer park, Poudre River, Momfort Factory, beef packing plant where my grandfather worked.
Very nice.
Okay, so that's neither here nor there, just some background of the story where we lived. Smelled like boiling blood all the time. We played at the river. That was our playground. But there were also this vacant lot where you could put trailers if you wanted to, but it was unkempt. Nobody wanted those spots. That was also kind of a concrete jungle playground for us.
Nice.
I don't even know. I'm very religious, probably about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a God complex, but somehow I'm thinking I'm a giant looking down at this anthill. And I'm like, look at these guys. I'm so much more strong than you guys are. Right. Look what I can do. Earthquake. And I start stomping on the ground, and then are all like, drop some water. It's raining. I control the weather, just kind of playing with ants. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm young. And so I take a plastic tube that I found on the ground and I'm like, tornado incoming. And so I take the giant tube and I put it next to the anthill. And I inhale as hard as I can on this giant tube.
Oh, no.
And I feel a red ant fly into the back of my throat. And I flip out. I'm a young little kid, and I start freaking out. And my grandmother's trailer is like, a trailer length away. But it's a long ways when you're 4 and your legs are small. So I'm running as fast as I can.
And you have something inside of you.
Yes, to my grandmother's trailer. I'm freaking out. I have a foreign insect alien inside my neck, and I'm freaking out. It's huge because, it feels like when anything's inside of you, it just feels gigantic. And so I have this monstrous thing.
I'm going to take your word for that.
Exactly. Just clinging.
That's what I tried to tell my girlfriend.
Stay on track, fellas. I
know
I
tried to Rudy's grandma, baby. Go cry to Rudy's grandma.
My grandma would probably tell you some stories about that too. Anyway, so I got, I'm running to my grandmother, and she's telling me, she's like, and I go to her, and the first thing that I think, because I'm a little religious punk, is, grandmother, get on your knees with me and pray with me so that this ant goes away from my throat. So she thinks this is a cute story because I'm 4 and I'm extremely religious, and she likes to tell this at church. So we're there praying for God to take this ant out of my throat. Doesn't happen. We go to the fridge. I start chugging milk. Doesn't happen. I'm just crying. And I don't know. Eventually it must have gone away, but it felt like it was there forever. So that is my story of A Giant Among Ants.
Love it.
I do like it.
The fact that you would...
Excuse me.
The fact that you inhaled an ant.
Yeah, and then I thought God would make it go away. That was my naivety.
And God said, quit treating him like a line of cocaine and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Quit picking on the little guy. That's what I think the story.
Did he bite you? Do you think he bit the inside of your throat?
It honestly, to this day, when I remember, it feels like there's pinchers in my throat when I remember the story. You know what I mean? So I think that he was holding on for dear. I mean, if I were an ant and some giant came up and I'm suddenly like Jonas in the whale type situation, and I had pincers, I mean, hell yeah, I'm using those.
Right.
Hang on.
Sure.
I'm holding on for dear life. So who knows? Maybe it's still there. Maybe it's, I don't know.
Maybe it's growing inside of you.
Exactly. Maybe
having eggs and shit. Every time I have an ear infection or something, I try. It feels like a little liquidy in there. I always think to myself, "There's eggs in there." It's a weird thing I have.
Oh yeah. And YouTube doesn't help with that fear either, because you
don't.
get all those videos of like people pulling stuff out of their ears. It's
earwigs, giant worms and bugs.
Yeah. I think that all the time. That's like my weird thing. Like, I want to go to the doctor and be like, "There's something growing in there." They're like, "Yeah, wax, clean it, you sick bastard." What do you think about that story, Andy?
It's got to be real.
I think so too.
I think it's
real.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
We'll see.
I just don't know. I just don't know how you make that up.
Yeah.
It's just some you can make up, or some it just seems too real.
So Catholic boy, is that?
No, Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's my joke. So I'm Mexican, I'm Aztec. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, so that makes me an old Mazda. Zoom. So,
yeah, I just think he added. He would have had to have added so many different little layers to it. Being is talking about being a Christian and all of these things, that it just doesn't seem. Okay. It doesn't seem plausible.
Yeah, so far I believe that one.
Too truthful, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out at the end of the show.
People are sneaky, man. This gets tough after a while. This is hard to pick. So how did we do on yours?
You didn't get it.
Adam
I don't
did.
think you got it. I think Adam got it. Adam got mine. Yeah.
Adam's amazing at this. I hate Adam. Okay.
I would love to play poker with you, because I think that I could probably win.
You think so?
Well, just because if I'm looking at how you do on the Bullhucker, which isn't great, you don't see people bluffing very well.
That's true.
That I feel like a poker game.
Oh, nice.
or maybe it's just a little ruse I put on to get you into a poker game.
Exactly. That could be too. You are the slick one.
I might have went through a whole shitload of trouble just to take your cash, Andy Johnson. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's tangling. You're getting tangled in that web.
Baby, we
never know.
I don't have anything left. I lost all the poker. The guy who can't guess the Bullhucker, that guy kicked your ass. It was a trap out of Black Bar. All right. Yeah. My turn. So we're gonna stay with that theme and go Kindergarten Blues.
Kindergarten Blues. Jeez, what a story. Okay, God, I'm telling all my embarrassing stories today. So Kindergarten Blues. I'm in kindergarten, obviously, and I grew up without a father, and I think that did a lot to my psyche, especially in terms of needing attention, wanting attention. Mm-hmm. So I decide that I need attention in kindergarten, and I need it bad. I need it in a bad way. I need it so bad that I'm going to go ahead and make it so that no matter what, they can't deny me.
Right.
So I decide that I'm going to grab, because I grew up very musical. I grew up actually playing the guitar, playing the piano. One time I picked up the guitar. I'm sorry, violin as well. So it's piano, violin, guitar is what I grew up playing.
Nice.
It's kindergarten. I'm deciding I want to learn a little bit more guitar. So, but here's my elaborate scheme. Not only do I want to learn guitar, I need the attention. So I go and I find, oh God, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm telling anybody in public this. This isn't. How many viewers you get on this Bullhuckers? Like
there's 3 of them.
There's like 3. There's like 3. Okay, good.
Me, my mom, and I think Andy might be watching.
So. All 5 of you that are listening, don't tell anybody this story because it's super embarrassing for me. So I go and I have some leftover Halloween blood, and I take this blood and I smear it on my face, and I take this look and my guitar, and I limp into the nurse's office, and I say, "Oh my God, I just got hit by a car. I need attention."
Seriously?
Yeah, in kindergarten. This is how bad it was. This is how bad my psyche was. This is how badly I needed a hug. So
did you look like the volleyball on Wilson? What's that movie?
Yeah, a little bit. But it was like I went Braveheart style with it. I went just one side. Like I was like that's believable. Like in a car accident, a child gets hit by a car. Like somehow he's just sticking his face in the traffic to like get hit on that side, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know. So like
whatever car hit you is very artistic.
I'm very smart in kindergarten. Very smart. Very evil scientist here. And I'm limping to the nurse's office. She's like, "Oh my God, Rudy, what happened? I got hit by a car." You know. And she starts wiping off the blood. There's no cut. There's no scar. Nothing. What's going on? And then she calls in my family. They're all there. and I start playing him a song. So I start learning. Yeah. So yeah, very sick story, but that's.
Did your family beat you?
That's how badly. No, they actually were looking at me like you're looking at me right now. They were like, "Wow, this kid is crazy. He needs something.
Right.
Like, what did we do wrong?
Right.
Pray with me. That's
yeah,
a
right,
big deal."
right.
So
did you ask them to pray with you?
No. I probably should have sang a hymn. I probably would have gone on better, but no. Yeah.
It's interesting because two stories from a very, very young age.
Right.
A very young age. Two stories like that. I don't know. The jury's out on this one. I'm not going to make a. I can't say anything because if I say it's true, if I think it's true, then I'm going to have to
assume I'm a sociopath, basically. Yeah.
Assume that the last one is completely false. So I can't do that. I just don't know about this one.
I'm from a Hispanic family, and I guarantee that if I'd have done that, the blood would have been real there on out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we'd be left alone with Lawrence for a minute.
Exactly. Well, we were also in front of the school nurse who was white, so I don't think anything's going to happen in front of that. They didn't need further proof.
Somebody will turn him in, yeah.
I think it's interesting that he did all of this and then had his guitar with him into the this was his plan. I'm going to wipe blood on my face. I've got my guitar. I've got a song ready. And when everybody gets together, I'm going to strum a tune.
How long did it take everybody to realize what was going on?
I think it was, I don't even know how long I was in that nurse's office. I think at one point they even called in like the counselor to figure out like, is everything good at home? Like, are you okay? Are you safe?
Yeah.
It's like, I just wanted a hug.
But I'm saying, like,
wanted a hug.
How long did they sit there staring at you before someone goes, "What's going on right now?
Like, that's enough.
What's happening?
That's enough. You need to stop, and we need to figure this out." Yeah, no, it wasn't long.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so don't tell anybody, 5 listeners. That's probably my most embarrassing story of my life.
Mom, don't listen to this.
Needing attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what else? It seems to me that there's a theme here with needing attention.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
You're snorting ants.
Mm-hmm.
You're wiping blood on your face, right? And now, and now I realize, I was going to mention this earlier, but that soup strainer that you have on your top lip, this porn stash that you have, that is all about the attention right there.
Is it porn stash? Because I was going, this is my homage to Cheech Marin is what I was going for.
Oh, the mustache, porn mustache. I thought I thought you're at his house and there was a stack of porn and he's got a stash. And I was like,
stash. I see what you're saying. I'm
versus
sorry.
porn
I'm
stash.
sorry.
No,
I was thinking, why?
What have you done, Andy?
First of all, why do you have your porn stash at all? There's the internet now, and why are you looking at it? Like,
he brings it everywhere. We get the car's just filled. No, this mustache that this guy has. If I could grow a mustache like that,
yeah, it's fantastic. It's pretty great.
I got to do the homage to the old, culture wars. I guess I don't know. Honestly, it was a Cheech Marin homage. That's all it really started. I was like, I'm doing comedy. I love Cheech. It's not even his real name, right? It's something else. It's something else, Marin.
I believe he's like Middle Eastern, too. I don't think he's Hispanic.
Yeah. So, okay,
right.
Great. So it's my homage to
Middle Eastern.
Either way, it's Middle Eastern Marin. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, it's something out there, though. It's not. Yeah, I didn't realize that till someone told me. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's not Hispanic, I don't think. So,
well, speaking of Hispanics that don't, well, this is my own personal opinion. Carlos Mencia is coming to Comedy Works. Yeah, he's coming down. And he's not even Carlos Mencia. It's Ned Mencia.
Yeah.
Right. And he's Honduran. He's not Mexican. So, whatever.
Yeah. No. Are you going to go watch it?
No. Okay. I have a mind to boycott Comedy Works, but it's such a great club. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I just want to boycott that show.
If you want to be in the comedy world, I would suggest you don't.
Yeah,
boycott
exactly.
Comedy
Don't piss off Comedy Works.
Yeah.
But yeah. No,
plus, the woman who owns it's awesome. Whitney's the nicest person alive. So
sure,
she's super cool.
I got all that and believe it. Love Comedy Works, but at the same time, disappointed in that booking.
I saw Carlos Mencia way back in the day. I worked for Budweiser, and he was at the Budweiser Event Center. So we had to take a few of our customers with us. I took Juan Ayala, and that was back when he was huge, before the whole Joe Rogan and him blow up on stage thing and all that good stuff. So it was. That's actually, he had an opener, Brad Williams. That's the first time.
Oh, sure.
He opened up for him, yeah. So he was very good for being like brand new to it. So
don't get me wrong, I jumped on that Carlos Mencia bandwagon. I loved every minute of it, and then I found out the truth. And I was like,
that he's a joke thief.
It's so deflated, yeah. But I mean, I was loving it. I was eating it up.
Right.
And maybe that's why I was so disappointed by it, and still I'm so disappointed by it. Is that it was such a believable act,
right?
That I fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Right.
Yeah. It turns out just an act. So I guess kudos to him for creating a believable act, but at the same time, it would have been nice if it wasn't stolen,
I mean, but how much has that happened in the past? Now there's the internet that, I mean, back in the day, I mean, it must have been rampant,
Well, it's very difficult. I mean, what's a new subject? I mean, it's difficult, sex, love, drugs, rock and roll. I mean, those things are the subjects of comedy, and it's difficult to not have a thought that somebody else has. But now with the internet, like you said, things are on video.
Right.
It's very obvious. It's very obvious if a joke is stolen or borrowed,
Well, it's parallel thinking, but when you do it word for word, I mean, verbatim.
It makes it very obvious, yeah.
Yeah, because the Carlos Mencia, the one that got me was the Ari Shafir building the wall bit he stole. I mean, he stole it word for word. He didn't,
Well, Joe Rogan's Dud-Dada is what did it for me. I saw Joe Rogan's earlier work, and he was the guy that would always be, tapping the microphone on the head and doing the du-du-du, and that was Joe Rogan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was Joe Rogan back in the day.
That's what pissed him off then.
Probably, yeah. It was good stuff.
That's crazy. I've never seen that online with Joe Rogan getting on stage. They hand him a microphone, and I mean, awkward.
Yeah,
but good for him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Stand up for your craft and your art for sure.
Who's your guy now? Who
do I like right now? I'm kind of fangirling over Mark Normand and Felipe Esparza.
I like Felipe Esparza. He reminds me of my father big time.
he's just wacky, crazy, wild hair, just out there.
Yeah. Represents
the culture well. Gets in really inside to it, and I like it. So
that's why I laugh at him though, because he does remind me so much of my father. You know what I mean? My dad's not that funny, but he just his mannerisms and the way he looks at the world, and I'm just like, I keep telling Dad, you need to watch this.
Yeah, it's pure like Texas comedy. Like that's
right.
He's quintessential Texas man telling you a joke. And you just feel like you're in Texas when you're hearing him. So I don't know.
The Batman.
I've been trying to get him up to Colorado, which we're working on stuff. Hopefully, fingers crossed, get him to either the Chinook Terry Bison Ranch in Wyoming or somewhere in Greeley, maybe.
Won't be cheap, man.
Who knows? I mean, that's the thing about, you have Brush here, right? So this is a nice theater. How many seats you got in here?
Oh, I think I counted 113, 14.
Very intimate little setting. People can work on the material in there. Perfect. Greeley's got like the 2,000 seat venue and the 15,000 seat venue. And so I wonder why we can't bring those big names. We do it with country all the time.
Sure.
And I was telling Andy, I want to say we got Jeff Foxworthy or one of the blue collar guys there at one point.
Wow.
In the Greeley Stampede. It was a Greeley Stampede, but we probably afforded it at the time.
But I mean, you're going to have that money to back it up in case it takes a shit too. So that's
exactly,
that's because that guy needs his money. He's not going to,
Right. So, yeah, I mean, the potential's there. It's just a matter of getting a big axe to come down and entertain us.
That's cool. Who's your guy now, Andy? Who do you like?
I still like the old comedians.
Yeah.
Honestly, you mentioned Jeff Foxworthy. I still like listening to that stuff. Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White. I watch Joe Rogan. Like that podcast, and certainly like that comedy. Not as many. Don't have my feelers out for as many new comedians as the older stuff. Yeah. And I actually am really careful. When I'm in the midst of trying to be creative, I'm actually really careful of not watching a lot of comedy for the reasons we were talking about before. Is sometimes you think it's your thought, you think it's your premise, and it turns out it's something that you watched a week ago that's stuck in your head.
So like a Robin Williams situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's not on purpose, but, I'm really aware, like when I'm in a creative phase where I'm really thinking of things, I don't like to watch other things because I don't want to have to think, wow, maybe that's not really mine.
Right.
Because I don't just abandon it. I don't want anything to do with that, even though, I mean, obviously at a very low level.
Right.
I just wouldn't want to ever think that I got to laugh over someone else's joke.
Yeah, they said that's how Robin Williams, his mind would go so quickly, he had a hard time differentiating between, did I hear that or did I write that? I mean, he was horrible about it, so... And he was like the original joke thief, what it sounds like,
Well, he was also an impressionist, though.
Right.
I don't necessarily consider Robin a joke thief. I consider him a master impressionist, where I don't think he was intentionally trying to steal anybody's material. I think he was just trying to emulate them for a laugh.
But it happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it happened on like the Tonight Show, whatever, whoever the comedian that owned that bit was just had to burn it, because he did it on national TV back in the day before the internet was there. So it was done, it was now his.
Now it belongs to him. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what the big deal. There's a book on it. What's the name of that book? When comedy stood up, or it's the one with the Leno and when they first started in L.A.
It's
Letterman.
not when comedy stood still. It's not that.
No.
Okay.
I got it at home. I read it years and years ago, but it's talking about when they all started off and how when Leno first moved from Boston, he was sleeping on the back porch of the Comedy Store, and yeah, that was Robin Williams. They said they'd have to put a light on when he walked in, and they'd jump back to the old stuff. They wouldn't do anything new in front of him. So, and I like Robin Williams. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great. That Weapons of Self-Destruction is an amazing show, man. So, all right.
Well, one more thing I wanted to add to just kind of piggyback off that. I did a lot of research into this because no comedian wants to be accused of stealing somebody else's material. And the one counter argument I did find that kind of struck a chord and I found was kind of valid was American stand-up comedy has been around for so long that every joke structure has already been told. So really when you're doing your comedy, you're not necessarily stealing anybody's old material, but you are mimicking an old structure. So not necessarily like knock, knock, who's there, but set a punchline. That's a structure.
Right,
Everybody's doing that structure.
Yeah.
One-liners, that's a structure. Everybody's doing a structure. So,
right.
That was the counter argument. I don't know if you guys want to discuss that or not. We don't have to, but that was just kind of.
I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that you're right in the way of just about everything has been thought of or done, but then there's that original twist that people put on it, like we were talking about in the car.
Right.
When it comes from your own personal, when it comes from your own personal life or whatever, your own truth, that's an original joke to me. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about alcohol, sex, love, or whatever, when it's coming from your personal life, something that's happened to you, that's original. Now, if you put your own twist on it, your own spin, there's plenty of other people talking about divorce, marriage, dating. Those are things that have been done to death.
Right.
But when you do it, if it's from your own personal, like I said, your own personal experience, and I don't think that's stealing a joke. I think that that's something you really lived through, and I think it's okay to have done it. Obviously, if you do it word for word, that's not okay.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
But
I think everybody's kind of on board with that. Like if you just take somebody's joke word for word, perform it in front of another crowd,
of course.
or even in front of that person, that's happened to me. Just like,
But that's
cool.
There's comedians that are so original that you couldn't possibly steal their jokes. Mm-hmm. You couldn't do it because you can't do it the same way as them. You don't have Larry the Cable Guy, for instance. Right. His entire persona, you could not go up on stage and do that.
His character?
Yeah, his character. You couldn't. It's going to be very obvious. You go up. We saw him in Fort Collins a couple of years ago, and he was wearing flip-flops on stage. He's barefoot, right, in cut-off jeans and a shirt with no sleeves that have just been ripped off. You can't copy that. If you went on stage, people would say right away, "Well, you're just trying to be Larry the Cable Guy." You couldn't just go up there and do a couple of jokes of his, because it's the entire persona. So he's not gonna, I don't believe he's going to get his stuff stolen. So be original, and the more original you are, the less.
Can you name another guy like that though?
That's as original as Larry the Cable Guy.
They would be very obvious that
you can't take his stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's tough.
That's tough. I can't imagine another person being able to do that.
Like a Mitch Hedberg, you know what I mean?
Well, what about Tim Allen? Tim Allen and the grunts. You can do grunts on stage without being compared to Tim Allen.
Okay, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
To a degree.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously, Jeff Foxworthy, you come back to all the redneck stuff.
Sure.
If you got up on stage and started doing that, immediately people would say, well, you're just emulating him.
Original
you're just
characters.
stealing from him.
Andy Kaufman.
Sure.
Probably be hard to pull off a Kaufman.
Who's the old boy from Boston? The first one he could get picked out of there. He's got that real monotone.
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright, thank you.
There you go. Yeah, that would be something that you're not gonna pull that off. Mm-hmm. That was very Jeff Dunham.
Why would you want to pull that off?
I'm not a ventriloquist. I couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah. As far as new guys go, coming up in the scene, I would say Derek Stroop would be hard to emulate.
Sure.
If you've ever seen him live in Denver, he just finished taping a special for Dry Bar, and he's been headlining all over Denver. But yeah, you can. My daughter describes him as like, there's just something funny about an Alabama accent yelling at you.
Right.
It's like, okay.
He came out here 3 years ago. He came out here and he slayed it, man. I can't remember who had to follow him, but it was they did well. Oh, it was Mike Stanley who followed him, so it was actually a good show. One of the better shows we ever had, Mike Stanley's great. He's fantastic. But Derek out here, it's a very conservative area, so they almost picked him up on their shoulders and carried him out like a king. You know what I mean? So he was very well loved.
It's easier to answer that question when you think about personalities. And when you think about different personalities and versus others, it gets a little bit easier to answer that question, because that always was one of the basics for me was if you want to get into comedy, you have to have some kind of personality. You can't just be monotone, boring up on stage and hope for laughs.
Well, Stephen Wright.
Exactly. Well,
you know what I mean?
But his personality was observations of the world in a phrase that made you laugh.
Yeah.
And that was Stephen Wright. That's a Stephen Wright personality.
When there's that stagecraft that comes in that, they can put themselves into it. Go back to Larry the Cable Guy. Mm-hmm. That is not him. If you've ever heard him interviewed, he doesn't even have that southern drawl.
Dan Whitney?
Yeah, Dan Whitney, exactly. So he's two completely different people.
The Cable Guy thing came from Florida. He would call into a radio station as Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, okay.
And that's how that got started. So he would call in on a regular basis. And so after a while, he was just Larry the Cable Guy. Oh, we got Larry the Cable Guy on the phone. It did so well, he tried it on stage, and it just took off.
Sure.
So basically, that's a pure stupid luck thing he had going on there. So God bless him. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I could use some pure stupid luck.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
You've been doing it for 3 years, you say? 3 years? Yeah.
I mean, it's just a start. I've always heard about, not always, but there's comedians of the opinion that your first 4 years is just college. Learn as much as you can, soak up as much as you can in the craft, and then your voice will come when it comes. It'll come with time. But for now, I just focus on stage time, get as much as I can, whether it be an open mic, a showcase, opening, hosting, whatever it takes. Just get up on stage as much as you can. And Andy's been doing it for a while. He doesn't need the stage time. He just needs the writing and the ideas and the inspiration, I would say, to keep coming up with new stuff and keep, because the audiences are changing now. That's what we were talking about in the car on the way up here as well, is how the audiences have changed throughout the years. You can say certain things now, certain ideas are relevant, certain ideas are not. Your material is going to be funny to some people and not as funny to others is probably the way I want to say that, And a lot of it has kind of come to age and YouTube. That's what that dang YouTube. That's what I blame everything on these days. But
you don't like YouTube?
No, I don't mind it. I just am fascinated by its influence on American culture.
Oh yeah, it's massive, dude.
It is insane.
By the way, if you're on YouTube right now watching this, please subscribe to the Bullhucker podcast. Hit the little bell up there so you can see when we have brand new videos. I love you, YouTube. Rudy Garcia.
Exactly.
I mean, whatever,
Hey, you do your thing, YouTube. I'm just saying, like.
You do you, YouTube.
You do you, YouTube.
You can go on Vimeo or whatever it is and pay for a subscription.
Yes, definitely listen to this podcast. Listen to all my stuff. I'm just saying, like, that's coming from a place of, like, if I let my kids watch YouTube for 24 hours a day, they would totally do it.
You said, what was it called? Death scrolling or doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling, yeah.
I'm like that with the YouTube. I'll go down a YouTube rabbit hole for hours. Like, it's horrible. It's bad,
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do,
Right. And I'm not knocking producers. I mean, you do your thing, make your money on YouTube, monetize that as quick as you can, do what you got to do to support your family. I'm all for that.
Right.
I'm like I said, I'm just fascinated by like, wow, what is there? Can you name one thing that YouTube has not influenced in American culture in 2021?
No, I really can't.
They were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There was YouTube in the Super Bowl.
Well, who owns them?
Is it Warner Brothers?
Google.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, dude, they're
So there you go. Yeah.
They're a juggernaut, dude. They're gonna,
I love YouTube. I sit down and I'll watch as soon as I said girlfriend, but I have to correct myself. My fiance, because I'm getting married in July.
Maybe not now. You call her your girlfriend twice.
Call her twice, exactly. When she leaves, I sit down and I watch old YouTube videos of wrestling.
Hey,
right, and I don't even, I know that some guys they're going to sit down right away. They're putting on that porn, right? They're doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Not on YouTube. I don't watch.
No,
the
but
porn.
I'm saying on the internet,
you,
right? Not me. Nope, it's old wrestling videos, and so she'll call up. What are you doing? And I'm actually kind of ashamed. I'd be like, I've been watching wrestling all day.
Jake the Snake versus Jimmy the Snookerfly.
I just love that stuff. And now on A&E, they have all these biographies of all these old wrestlers. So you got Mick Foley and Rowdy Piper.
Oh my God, dude!
Exactly. Don't throw rocks at a guy with a machine gun.
Yeah.
That's one of his. It is. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
I love you, but that's the most redneck thing I've heard all day, and I live in Brush.
Hey, Ultimate Warrior was my guy. I love the Ultimate Warrior.
They just did his biography too.
Oh man, I loved him. I don't know what it was about him. I just really
Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That's when I watched. Like the Junkyard Dog. I mean,
oh yeah,
Jimmy the Snooperfly Snuka. Yeah, that's what I. The dragon. The Steamboat.
Ricky the Steamboat.
Yeah.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Excuse me.
Yeah. That's when I watched wrestling because I'm old as shit. So that's.
And I'm older than you.
That's true. You are older than me.
I am older than
but
you.
I don't go right to the wrestling videos. When someone leaves.
That's exactly what I go. Oh, she's gone. I get to watch wrestling.
It's bad when your wife is hoping that she catches you with porn because at least she respects that a little bit. Like,
if she calls me and she'll be like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm watching porn." She goes, "No, you're not.
You're watching damn Hulk.
Wrestling.
You're watching the Hogan, aren't you, you some bitch?"
Ric Flair obviously would be my go-to. Those.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Nintendo had an 8-bit version of wrestling when Bam Bam Bigelow was on there.
Oh my God!
And his special move, one of his special moves, was he would do a cartwheel. So you just see like this Bam Bam Bigelow, kind of like the flames in the black circle with like little stubby arms and legs, do a cartwheel into like the 8-pixel-y guys. It was hilarious. I loved it. I love that special move.
No,
that's awesome.
So like once again, I'm old, so I remember the old wrestling with the Starman when you do the whole
yes.
cross.
Oh, I love that game. That was so much fun. Well, I miss my old Nintendo now.
You know where the line can't be crossed, as I suggested at our wedding that I give Laura, my fiance, a Stone Cold Stunner right at the end instead of a kiss, and that's where we drew the line.
No, she should give you the Stone Cold Stunner.
Either way, I want it to happen, right?
What is the Stone Cold Stunner?
Yeah, a kick in the stomach, and then you spin around and
Okay,
it's
right?
supposed to be a neck crank.
Yeah,
okay.
Supposed to be a neck cranker.
Okay.
It's supposed to look like a neck crank anyway. Yeah.
You kick him in the stomach, and then you spin, and then bam,
on the
you're
neck.
down. And I just thought it'd be awesome. You know, I'm in the suit, she's in the wedding dress, and somebody gets the stunner at the end, and she said no.
By the way, I just noticed you sizing me up. You're not stunning shit. Just so we're clear. I said you look me up and down like, I bet I could pull it off on him.
I did. I was really. I'm like, could I do this?
Yeah, Rudy's out cold.
No, hold on. I got the idea. I got it. Stone Cold Stunner off the top rope into the wedding cake, and the guests are just waiting with the plate so that when it goes flying, they can catch a piece of it.
Just a piece of the cake.
Splat. Yeah.
Or lick it off their lapel.
Yes,
or
just catch the
I'll
cake.
bring all these ideas up to her.
All right.
I don't think this will air before the wedding.
This will be middle of June.
Oh, so then we'll be okay. We get married July 31st.
Oh yeah.
Mazel tov.
So, yeah. Mazel tov.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our last story.
Yeah.
Last story.
I distracted you with
You're
the
fine.
mustache.
No, you're cool. Yeah, the porn stash. Yeah, you said porn and stash, and no.
You're like, where is
we
it?
went from porn stash to wedding cake. Hey.
Yeah, I was excited. I'm like, I'm not the only one. Good. So, wrong stash. Okay, last story. Mattress Everest.
Mattress Everest. I just realized I gave you all stories from my childhood. I guess that was fine. I mean, because you know why? It's because it's so much easier for me to say, I was just a kid.
Yeah.
You can't judge me. These are the actions of a child.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry. I forgot about that. Mattress Everest is the story of the same. I grew up with my grandmother, obviously. Like I mentioned, my father left. My mom was super poor. She worked at Montfort for 12 hours a day, and I stuck with my grandfather lived at the trailer park next to Poudre River. Playground, Poudre. Giant dumpster in front of this trailer park. All the trash goes there. Trailer park trash.
Is that not as fancy as regular trash, or?
It's you can imagine trailer trash. It was my toys. One man's trailer trash is another child's toy. So
a lot of cardboard cutouts of.
I was going to ask you if you had any toys, because so far it's just been ants and dumpsters.
No, ants, plastic tubing for tornadoes on ants, and my favorite toy when I was growing up was a stick and a funnel, because then I could jab those together and pretend I had a spear and run around, and, as a badass with a spear in the neighborhood.
With a handguard.
Exactly. Yeah. I was really hoping to train a falcon someday, and they never came down to my wrist. So, hey, a guy can dream someday.
It's really so it's just a pigeon, but it was
yeah,
a falcon.
exactly. Yeah, I'd get a pigeon, crow somewhere. The crow thought I had food. But no, big trailer park, L shape, rivers behind me. dumpsters in front of us, right in front of my trailer too, right in front of my grandma's trailer. So I'd look outside and just see all this interesting stuff just stacking up. Well, one day there's a mattress on the side. Well, it wasn't necessarily on the side. I put it on the side, but there was a mattress on the trailer. Now, mattresses at a trailer park for a poor kid is a gold mine because you can do a lot with mattress. You can jump on it like trampoline. You can put it up like a wall. It's a fortress wall now. You put it up on one side. It's shade if you put it up just right, and you go underneath it. There's a lot of potential with an old mattress.
You can get herpes at the age of 6.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get some ringworm. You can get some bed bugs. You can get. I mean, you know,
float it down the pooter.
That's a lice outbreak in kindergarten if you time it right. You know, so
that's right.
Well, all the other kids are getting lice, and you come in with a raging case of crabs.
Nurse sees me again this time.
Exactly.
Right.
No guitar this time, Rudy. No guitar.
You're 6, at least you don't got to shave. Just right to the cream. That's nice.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Oh, I'm about to learn a lot. Okay, so yeah. This time I decided I'm going to take the mattress and I'm going to put it on the side of the dumpster so that I can run up and down it kind of like Wipeout style. You know what I'm saying? So I'm running up and down this mattress and I'm having fun. Run up the mattress, slide down. Run up the mattress, slide down. I'm having a great time. One time I run up the mattress full speed because I want to gain speed. And this time I'm done with at the bottom of the mattress, climb up and go down. I want a running start. So I get a good 20 feet away from this dumpster now. And I get myself a nice running start for this mattress. So running as hard as I can for the mattress. I miss it by an inch. And you know those dumpsters, they still have them now. But that old school dumpster at the time was like, you know, you had the arm coming out of it and then like the circle of metal.
Okay. Yes,
around it looks kind of like a saw almost without the blade, without the teeth. I miss the mattress and my eye goes straight into this metal part.
Ooh.
And I got this nice little gash of blood coming out now, just flowing out of me. Right. Again, I run to my grandma's house and this is an emergency for sure. I guess I must be spouting a lot of blood at this point. I'm lucky enough to have my aunt in town. And so she drives me to the emergency room here not here, I'm sorry. The brush is so familiar to Greeley. I feel like I'm at home right now. In Greeley.
We'll call it East Greeley.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I go to West Greeley, and they rush me to the hospital. and I guess there's not really a moral, but the kind of the climax of this story is me howling in the doctor's office. My aunt described it as like a bone-chilling howl that everybody in the emergency room just couldn't, you know, because I'm like under 10 years old, I think. I think I was like 8 or 9.
Oh, no.
And so this like high-pitched man-child, like this boy, high-pitched howl going through the emergency room.
How old are you around?
I want to say around 8 or 9.
Okay.
And it was like, you know, on this, is it the eyebrow? I probably still have the scar a little bit here. But it was this eyebrow, and they had to put like, you know, 12 stitches in there. And I guess from this first stitch to the last, I was just howling like I would have been in the worst pain ever in my entire life. Like they were torturing a child in the hospital. And that's just how my aunt described it, just bone-chilling howl. So yeah, that was mattress. That's mattress Everest. I climbed my Everest.
I felt like he was going to say, then I wiped the blood away and I pulled out my guitar.
Yeah.
So then they took me back to the nurse's office.
This is following a theme.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's Freebird. So
yeah. That's what your grandma said when you came in bloody. She's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Get back out there and play mijo. You're not hurt.
Sing Tigres del Norte, the one I like. Yeah.
Boy, these are all very. All of these stories have a lot of added things to them. He's done really well with them. Obviously, one of them being a lie, but it's very difficult to tell.
Do you have one in your head?
No, I don't yet.
Can I hug the Bullhuckers?
I think I have one in my head that I think might be not so honest.
His stories involve a lot of pain and bleeding.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah, I did. There's a lot of blood in my childhood. Thanks.
And a lot of really weird toys.
Yeah.
Old mattresses and
very imaginative toys. Yeah.
Very imaginative toys. You had to use your imagination, obviously. I mean, you didn't have a lot of the traditional toys. You had dumpsters.
Can I add a bonus story? Not really a story, just a bonus.
Yeah, but I was going to say, you must be super easy to shop for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I'm a cheap date. I'm a super cheap date.
Go to the garbage for Rudy's shit.
Stick.
Ooh, I loved it.
Funnel. Add a funnel. Mm-hmm. You know? Here's a funnel on the other side for a bow staff. You're kicking ass now. There, Rudy.
Wow.
All right, Mr.
Did you grow up poor, too? That's
I grew up with my mother and grandparents, and I didn't know my dad till I was 24. So, yes, I have the same story as you.
Yay!
I
Origin Brothers.
yes.
No, bonus tale, real quick, if I may.
You may.
The bonus tale. I remember. Is it Nick Dean? I want to say Nick Dean has a bit about. He always asks the audience, "How many of you grew up on porn on the internet, or were like me and found their porn in the woods?" And it's super relatable to me. I'm always sheepishly going like,
What's here?
that river, Poudre River. There's a bridge on 11th Avenue. There's a bridge that like welcomes you to Greeley now. It's all nice and fancy. Back then it was just a bridge. With transients underneath, and those transients loved their hustlers. They loved Playboys. They loved all those publications of the ladies. And so, yeah, we're young and we're exploring the river, as we would, because that's our playground. We're just going to go out there and have fun and hope we don't drown. Right. Hope it's not too high. And yeah, we go underneath the bridge and there's this box and it's just full of porn magazines. It was a literal porn stash. And so, nice. And I was young enough to look at it and young enough and religious enough to look at it and know that it was a devil. So we took it. We took some guy's porn stash and we dumped it in the river. And we were like, get up, we got to drown these so that nobody sees it. We start throwing rocks at the porn magazines thinking we're like heroes to America.
Some poor transients down
some poor guy is just like, oh no. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't there to suffer his wrath or her wrath. Who knows? But
every day I wish I'd die. The only thing keeps me going is my big box of porn when I get home back to the box. Yeah, it's the only thing I got going for me. If I didn't have that big box of porn, I'd end it all.
You remember when my box got lost? You think they ever found it?
Yeah. It took him years to gather all that porn.
Svetlana was in there. She was my favorite.
It wasn't even good porn. It was just what he could find.
Yeah. It was 70s porn.
You guys see who took my porn? Some kid was bloody on his paint on his face like Braveheart.
He had a stick and a funnel.
Yeah.
Some bard with Braveheart paint on his face. Tossed it in the river.
Yeah, he played the little Seeger on the guitar then left. It was crazy. Some bitch was out to get you.
On the road again? Yeah.
My friend CJ, I'm going to call you out a little bit. I love you, CJ. He used to his family would watch Neighborhood Dogs for the guy across. My guy across the street worked for the railroad. So Pete would be gone. I can say Pete because he's been dead for a couple of years. Would be gone for, 2 weeks at a time, whatever. So CJ's job was to go watch and let the dogs out and feed them and shit. Well, Pete had in the bathroom under the sink the biggest to this day, and I'm 45 years old, stash of porn. So CJ would steal it, and we'd hide it in his backyard under the bushes, right? So before we go to school, I'm like, well, better go hit the bushes real quick and go see what the end of that story at the Hustler, Hustler Journal is, go read it and not understand any of it. But that's funny you say that because CJ and I had the little porn stashes, like 3 or 4 magazines, and we had to hide it from his sister because she'd snitch on us. Christina, you snitch. So, yeah.
Damn you, Christina.
So I had my little porn stash in my room. I had from the time, I suppose, 8th grade, I had a downstairs room. Now, the basement downstairs wasn't finished, but one room had sheetrock on 2 walls, and then it was brick. Right. Oops. Then it was brick on the other 2 walls. And on the other side of one of these walls was what I grew up on a farm as what was called a root cellar, which was where my mom put all her canning, and then we had bins for potatoes and onions and everything else. This side of the wall was not finished. It had simply stud walls, and it had shelves where she put all her canning. I'm not thinking of this. I punch a hole in the sheetrock. I cover it up with a poster, and then I can move the poster, and I can put my magazines in the hole. Right? And I'm just thinking that I'm putting them in the wall, right?
Wow.
Really what I'm doing is I'm stacking them neatly on the shelf next to the peaches for my mom to find and throw out.
Oh, no. Wow.
The thing is this goes on for a long, long time.
Right.
I'm not one to revisit old magazines.
Oh,
I mean, I like them, but I like to get new ones. I like
collection.
Variety.
Exactly.
Put your pinky up.
Exactly. I like variety, which may have ended my first marriage, but that's a completely different story, right?
Okay.
My love of variety.
Right.
Okay, well, you can edit that out. So these stack up, and I think that I have an entire, we'll go back to porn stash again, but I think that I have an entire stash of magazines in this wall. that I've just been continuously putting down there. One day, my mom just decides to spill the beans. And she asks me, she goes, "Are you missing anything?" And right away, to like a 12-year-old kid, you're like, "Oh my God, what has she found?" But I still don't think that it's the magazines. And, then she tells me that she's been collecting and burning my magazines for the last 6 months.
Aww. I like how you think your mom's not going to think it's weird that out of the blue, there's a poster of Roddy Piper next to the root cellar.
And if you go into the root cellar, there's a hole, right above the shelf. Like I said, and I would just put them in, and they would just slide down in a nice, neat stack.
Did you punch it with your own fist?
Yeah, just bap. Yeah, just punched a hole and then put a magazine, or then put a poster up. And I thought that I was just the slickest guy in the world.
Did you wait till your dad went into the bathroom because he knew he'd be in there for an hour and a half smoking cigarettes and reading the Sunday Times?
Well, to finish this up, so the room really wasn't finished, except there wasn't really a ceiling on the room. So I went away to the Army. And I was in the reserve, so I did my basic training, and I did my AIT. Well, I had learned not to hide my magazines, obviously, in the hole in the wall. I had been putting them up in the bricks, right? So then I could save them all, right? And so when I got out of basic training, I'm coming home, and I was in the reserve, so my parents were nice enough to have finished that room for me. Right? And I'm excited because I got all my magazines, and they put a nice ceiling and refinished the whole thing and sealed for all of eternity.
So at least for the next remodel.
All of my magazines are in those walls, in those brick walls.
That's awesome. Or your dad stole them.
Or he stole them, exactly. One or the other.
What I love about this story is that you had your own little stash of peaches next to the peaches.
Exactly. Cool. A very nice pair.
It's the books of my beaches next to my peaches. All right, buddy. We got a guess now.
Okay.
We got you know how it goes. We got paper rock scissors first.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Rudy, how do you paper rock scissors? How many pumps do you do?
I do 3.
So you go boom boom and then shoot, or you go boom 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 then shoot.
I do boom boom shoot. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Boom boom shoot. So you're 3. He's a 3 pumper.
Well, somebody else told me
I'm a 3 pump jumper.
Congratulations.
I'm a 3 pumper.
Okay.
Somebody else told me
you're
supposed to say
rock paper scissors shoot. Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Okay. Well, what do you do usually?
Let's do rock paper scissors.
So we're gonna boom boom shoot.
Yeah, boom boom shoot.
Oh, rock beats the scissors. Rock beats the skizzers.
Is it best out of 3 or
No,
just 1? Oh,
God,
damn
no.
it. Okay.
My God, no. Here's the deal. I'm horrible at that, so feel bad about yourself for getting beat by me. I'm the worst.
So I got to reveal it to this camera then? Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah, we will. Here in a second, we're going to guess first. So our 3 stories, Andy, you want to read them off?
The 3 stories are Kindergarten Blues, A Giant Among Ants, and Mattress Everest.
All right, my man. What are you thinking?
I think Kindergarten Blues. That's what I think. I just think the Mattress Everest, that's something a kid would do. Kids get banged up all the time.
Right.
Kids get banged up all the time. Boy, that's a tough one to think that in kindergarten he needed so much attention from the school nurse that he faked.
Maybe she was hot. I don't know.
You have blood in your eyes. How would you know?
Too much. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So you're gonna
Ultimate Warrior style too, by the way.
So you know Kindergarten Blues.
That's what I'm going with. Kindergarten Blues. Yep.
I was leaning towards that one. I don't know. It's a little out there, so that's what makes it tough. Is sometimes it's the story that's the most unbelievable. That's why they throw it in there. So
Yeah.
I thought the Giant Among Ants was a little light, not as much detail. So that's probably what I would pick. I'm going to go with a Giant Among Ants. You're going to go with Kindergarten Blues?
I'm going to go
That's ballsy. He chose my
family.
I even said it was my grandma's favorite story.
I know.
He's like, nah, screw you. That's
I think
bullshit.
Admiral Akbar, I think it's a trap. So
It's difficult because you get comedians up here that are used to spinning a yarn and that are used to exaggerating for the effect.
Right.
And
that's part of the basics, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
That's part of the appeal to comedy is to me. It's like you can take your life experiences and exaggerate it just a tiny bit,
but it makes it so difficult to try and figure out what that bullhucker is.
I've had people that have all walks of life do this podcast. I've had a few of them come come with the fury, man. I mean, they did a good job. Kelly Pelton, actually the one got released this week, the nurse from Boulder.
Oh, I bet she's got some good ones.
That was actually a really good episode. You can actually check it out this is the future. So
on YouTube.
Kelly Pelton, you can on YouTube. Thank you very much. But the one I fell for, it was the one she told that was the lie, was so believable. She took and put so much effort into it, so much detail. I didn't even consider the fact that one wasn't true. You know what I mean? So when she pulled out the board, I was like, get out of here. And she beat us both. So, Rudy, grab the board.
Man. All right, I'll grab this board.
So,
I can reach it. I'm reaching.
Kindergarten Blues and a Giant Among Us.
Yep.
Mattress ever. Someone would be so pissed off.
Kindergarten Blues versus a Giant Among Us. All right, ready? Yep. Ready? Here, I'll do this. I want to do this really dramatic, like it's the kindergartner in me. All right.
Kindergarten Blues. You're right. Oh, shit.
Boom.
Did I huck the Bullhuckers?
Yeah, well, hucked one of us.
Okay, no, tell me how you came up with that, though. Because there's got to be, my experience is that there's always a tiny bit of truth. You know what I mean? That was,
there's a bit of strategy in trying to huck a Bullhucker, right? Because the way I thought of it was, I mean, at its essence core, it's two truths and a lie. Fun game, right?
Right.
It's a fun game to play no matter. Well, one of my favorite drinking games was Questions. You ever play that?
Mm-mm.
Where it's like you're not allowed to say a statement. We just communicate with questions.
Okay.
So I say, how are you?
I don't know. How are you?
Can I go back and say, I'm fine, how are you? Okay. All right.
Good.
All right.
I just lost because I said good.
Oh, okay.
So, you just communicate with questions. One of my favorites. But yeah, you grew up with a lot of Christian boot camps and Christian camps, summer camps, and there's a lot of two truths and a lie.
Are you Christian? Are you a Christian now?
I don't want to say that I'm a full-fledged Christian. I did grow up Seventh-day Adventist. Later on in life, as I got older in my adulthood, I went to like an evangelical free church, just kind of praise and work on like the tech team, because I've always been interested in like the technological side of production. And so I learned some volunteer stuff that way. And I don't know, I'd say if anything, the best way to describe it is I kind of wrestle with spirituality now.
Gotcha.
I would say I would probably describe myself best as an agnostic.
Okay.
That's probably where I'm at right now.
So you don't believe there's a God?
No, I believe there's a God. I just don't know that we got it right when it comes to God.
I gotcha. Okay.
Isn't that agnostic? Where like you believe, but
I don't know.
We're going to do what I always do on
I
this
think
podcast.
atheist is you don't believe in God.
You go. You're right.
But agnostic
you're
is you believe in something, you just don't know if we got it right. We have lots of questions on it.
Here's what I do on this podcast. Hey, Siri.
Google.
Hey, Siri. What does agnostic mean?
As a noun, it means a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or of anything beyond material phenomena. A person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God.
Okay, so middle of the road. I'm
kind of on the fence. I mean, I think religion and spirituality as a whole in the history of the world is way too much fun. You think of Indian gods, you think of Greek gods, you think of Shinto in Japan, just this is way too much fun. A flying spaghetti monster, let's do it. I'm down. Let's have fun.
That's an actual religion.
That's an actual religion, yeah.
It's the national spaghetti monster of the There's a colander or something there, right?
Yeah, the flying spaghetti monster. Of the yeah, I know I've heard, but I'm not sure.
Good for them though,
Yeah. So back to the whole I mean, it's just a technique, right? You take a personal experience, you exaggerate it a bit for the sake of comedy. We're talking about timing and how it translates through genres, how you create tension and then relieve the tension in horror with a scare, in drama with a big dramatic climax, in comedy with a punchline. So Kindergarten Blues is actually based off a true story. Half of that story is true. I didn't pull out a guitar, basically.
But you did paint your face.
I did. Yeah, that's one of my most embarrassing moments of my life is I did paint my face with red fake blood because I was starved for attention. Went to the nurse, said I got in a car accident, and was hoping for attention and, I don't know, sympathy and pity, I guess. And yeah, I guess that's what happens when dad's not around. And those are my daddy issues. I think I met him. I think he came around a couple times, once so that I could go see him play softball.
Okay.
Another time to give me one of his old softball shirts. So
all right.
I think I know what his first love is.
Yeah.
It's fine. But no, I don't think I necessarily missed out on much. From the stories that I've heard, he was quite the womanizer. He was quite the dog.
Yeah.
So I think he had a wife in Mexico, And then he also had he impregnated some girl. I think I have like 2 half brothers and a sister floating around out there.
Sounds familiar.
In the state.
We got the same story. It's
right.
insane. So
yeah, maybe we're related. Who knows? Hey, hell yeah.
It might be.
And then he impregnated my mom and just kind of left her hanging with 2 kids. And so that's the story there.
I got 2 sisters and a brother, all halves. So
yeah,
a couple steps.
They probably look like you.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, we actually do kind of look alike, but man, we get along now. Me and my dad, we've made amends over the. I was 24 when I met him, so yeah, it's cool now. But yeah, he's same story. You know what I mean? He's a trip. He's one of the only people in the world that makes me actually belly laugh. He's not trying to.
Right.
You know, he tells me stories, and I shake my head like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. Yes, yeah, bro. Yeah. You know,
quite the character.
You know, he is quite the character. When he had the heart attack. Because he wakes up, he smokes a joint, drinks a Mountain Dew, and reads the paper. That's what he does. He doesn't do it on the shitter. He does it on the porch. You know, weirdo. I know, weirdo. But he when he had the heart attack, they told him, you have to quit smoking marijuana, Mr. Barrows. You know, and I told the doctor, I said, I'll go in there with you because that's gonna. I know he's had a heart attack, but he'll find the energy to fight you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he goes, you're gonna have to start eating edibles. He goes, okay. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God, because usually he would have called you a pussy for saying that out loud. That's because that's not what real pot smokers, they smoke it. They don't eat it, so yeah. But that's funny. We have the same kind of story with that.
Yeah, I don't have any sweet stories to share like that. I never really saw him. Last I heard, he works construction in Denver, but that was like decades ago. So who knows? I have had lots of father figures in my life. Like,
cool.
The guy that I learned how to play the violin from, Doran Nazari. He was always like a father figure. He recently retired from Weld County School District. That's probably the best example I can give right now. Other people, obviously. I think I learned more about manhood through books than other cool. men. Like. You read those self-help books or, what is manhood now? But now you got guys like Jordan Peterson and like Joe Rogan that are really stirring the pot. So, good times there.
Gee, I feel bad. I grew up with a father.
Yeah, but he was in the shitter for most of your childhood, so what's it matter? You know what I mean?
Andy, screw you and your wholesome childhood.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Well, the neat thing about that is that I can bounce jokes off my father. I can ask him about things. I came up with a joke some time ago about my father not loving me. And my father said he loved me every single day. Sorry to make you guys feel bad.
No, you're fine. I mean, grandfather. We'll go grandfather. You probably had a couple caring grandfathers, at least one.
I had one.
Same here. And COVID took him, but while he was alive, the best piece of advice he ever gave me in showbiz was like, if you want to get in the public eye, no matter what you do it loud.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, the disadvantage of having a dad all the time is that they're there to discipline you.
Yeah.
And he was a disciplinarian. I think the statute of limitations has probably ended on this whole thing, but he punched me in the face one time when I was 12.
Ooh.
In public.
He hit me like I was drywall.
Exactly. He hit me like I was trying to hide a porn stash. Yeah.
He's a great dad, but he just didn't take any crap. I lipped off to him at the little local carnival in front of a bunch of old farmers.
Oh,
and there's only one way to go with that. He's not going to take that. Mm-hmm. And I got smacked right in the face.
And then the farmers high-fived him.
Yeah.
Almost died from the high five.
Yeah, they were all happy. They were all like, yep, that's what you should do. Yep.
So, I never got punched in the face, but my grandfather, because I grew up with him, and the only time he ever hit me, actually, I was young. Mom told me the story. I kind of blocked it out in my head, I guess. But I was mad at her or something, so I was going to take a shower. So I had nothing but a towel on, and I slammed the bathroom door, and he freaked out. And so he kicked it open, and then it was game on. You know what I'm saying? I got beat naked. Let's try that out. It's, when you're like, I don't know, it was like probably 12 or something. And he's like, well, don't you ever? I was like, son of a bitch, we put some underwear on. This is getting weird, old man, But it's the only time he ever hit me, So it's the only time I pissed him off, I guess.
It's tough to fight back when you're naked.
Yeah, it really is.
My family's weird. So in my family, you're not allowed to be too skinny or too fat. So if you're not allowed to be gordo, you're not allowed to be flaco. Somehow there's a middle somewhere in there.
Right.
I've never found it, but I guess it exists somewhere in my grandmother's eyes. So I was really gordo growing up, really fat kid. And my uncle would always take us camping. One time, he straight up asked everybody, who would like a second cheeseburger? And of course, I'm a fat kid. What fat kid doesn't want seconds on a cheeseburger? Yeah. So I raised up my hands. Not knowing that I'm exposing myself to a direct attack from his straight punch to my gut because I guess he was trying to teach me a lesson about being a fat kid.
Oh, no.
And so he strikes me right in the gut, full stomach on one cheeseburger already.
Right.
And I guess I didn't get my second cheeseburger. But that's what I get for asking. So, that's what I get for taking the bait. Who wants second cheese? Me. Slam. So my fault. My fault for falling for it.
That's as bad as my grandmother was. I mean, obviously, she fed me all.
Tacos.
Yeah. She didn't mess around. But my friend, one of my best friends in the world, Mac Deal, grew up next door, very skinny. Mac was so skinny, it drove her crazy. Like, she would, like, sneak him food like he's in a concentration camp. Like, the deals aren't feeding him. You know what I mean? He was this little guy, But are you hungry? And I mean, she was like, I'm hungry. She's like, yeah, we know you're hungry, Lawrence, but let's feed the neighbor kid, So.
Oh, good childhood stories.
I grew up right next to my grandparents, so it was our farm and then my grandparents' farm right next to it. So you could just walk across the field through 2 gates through the pasture and to my grandparents' house. And when I was 4 or 5 years old, they said that I ended up at my grandparents' house and was telling my grandma, they don't feed me. I need some food.
Oh, no.
And she just called my mom, said, hey, he's over here claiming you're not feeding him.
I bet she ate that up, though. I bet she was loving it.
Oh, she thought it was just the funniest thing in the world. I mean, my parents took good care.
Sure.
So my grandma knew that it was just a bullhucker.
Right.
I guess so.
She saw through it right away.
I got both
they
of
thought
you.
it was pretty darn funny.
Car hit me. I'm not being fed at home.
We're all just going to have a big group hug after the podcast. That'll solve a lot of our psyche.
It'll be weird. Yeah. So, well, guys, that's about our time. I appreciate you guys coming. You came down to Greeley today. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Someday.
Well, thank you so much. Before we go, I do want to say, check us out on thebullhucker.com. This is episode 21. I'm going to get all Rudy's information about the Moxie and anything he's got going on, his podcast. I'll link to that on the webpage. Check his podcast out. It's cool. You can actually catch Andy on a couple episodes.
Yep,
or one.
He's on there.
The one.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Came down through some axes. It's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you check it out. And so if you're looking for comedy in Greeley, Colorado, you can check out Rudy Garcia. He's got a lot of stuff going on, it sounds like. So definitely check that out. Check us out on YouTube. And like I said, subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the little bell button. It's a small click for you, a big click for us. So please make sure you do that. And any kind of Spotify, iTunes, whatever, subscribe. Okay, it helps us out, and I just really want you to. So it's all about me, right? So selfish. But anyway, guys,
Bulls fans.
Yeah, Bulls fans. Smoking menthol, dude. Come on. Hey, Andy, thank you for coming on, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Had a great time as always.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Yeah, and Rudy, thank you for coming down.
Thank you, Rudy.
It was awesome. So, peace out, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.